Alright, happy May Day, everybody. It is May 1st, we do not have a ban list, and I am crying on the inside. Which means we have to talk about the metagame. Now, I did this a little bit on yesterday's discussion, but people mainly took it as a whining video and didn't actually watch the whole video, so it was your own fault for didn't hear what I said yesterday. But it's fine. We're going to reiterate on that today. We're going to talk about the implications of FLOD. I'm not going to talk about Dark Saviors yet. This video will literally go up until we probably get a ban list and some other things. But for the most part, for the time being, this is what the meta will be looking like pre-ban list, post-Flames of Destruction. So buckle up and remember, the ride never truly ends. Alright, let's dig into the shit show of meta. If you would show me some kindness by liking this video so that I know that I have done something useful with my life besides being fat and worthless, that'd be great. So, first deck in our metagame, little card art will show up somewhere around here. We're going to talk about Goki Nightmare. Now, we've started seeing Goki showing up pre-Flames of Destruction. I think they've had 2 tops in the week before the release of the Nightmares. And the Nightmare archetype literally gives this engine so much more life. And it's... whew. So here's the thing. Gokis are one of the best turbo engines in the fucking game. Self-replacement clauses everywhere. They're all once per turn. Konami, thank you. You learned. Could have been really bad, but everything self-replaces itself. But on the downside, Firewall Dragon pretty much exists, which means you can do everything. The OCG variants were revolving around Isolde and Summon Sorceress, of which we don't have Summon Sorceress. I believe the build that we originally saw come out of Team Jobber wasn't so much based on the concept of extra linking your opponent, but the release of Nightmares in general, with the already broken Goki support we currently have present, should allow the deck to capitalize and literally evolve and be a competitive deck pre-Brandish. Now, I'm not going to say that that's anything short of a miracle, but I think for the most part you should be aware that the Goki combo deck is pretty much there. The deck can still combo off. I think it's going to take a very good player. I don't know if we're going to be able to break the deck before Brandish comes out and Dark Saviors near the end of the month, but we'll have to wait and see for the most part. Because honestly, having it exist and be a combo deck in the format, I don't know how its Pendulum Edition matchup is, I'll be honest with you, but actually I think it loses to True Draco and Pendulum Edition, but this is another deck in the meta, is fine. Numero uno. You all know this one. This one should be a no-brainer. Alterass, or Altergeist, as many of you will refer to it as. Literally just multi-faker Siliquitos the deck. Basically, you summon Siliquitos off of multi-faker. Siliquitos can bounce back cards on the field. The deck's a degenerate stun deck. And it's Robbie Altergeist aren't. Yes, they are. They're a deck that has massive disruption that relies on a Grand Mollusk card to control the game through the effects of constant trap cards while using monsters to generate self-sufficient advantage, thus disrupting the strategy of your opponent. So, Altergeist enter into the field. Now, this isn't anything too special. I think everybody knew that this was coming. Being able to infinite impartance or infinitely impede on your opponent's turn should have been infinite impede. I like that name. But because that combo exists, being able to set up a soft lock on your opponent. Now, if True Draco exists in the format, cool. It'll be able to disrupt the opponent. I heard putting your monster on Trap Monster is really fucking good in that matchup. But this is under the assumption that True Draco does live to see another day. But as of entering the field right now, Goki Nightmare and Altergeist are 2 very scary decks that if I were playing competitively, I would make sure I definitely knew what they did, because a lot of people will be trying out these new strategies as I'm going to call them. Just more tier 1 decks. It's not bad. We'll go from, what, 13 to 15? Alright, now these next few I gotta rag on really hard. First off, Elemental Sabres. Konami, I don't know what you were doing when you made Elementals the archetype, whether or not you thought every deck wanted to play Mulu or Grand Soil or some shit like this. But this archetype is fail central for competitive play. You didn't give them the right amount of recruitability. Honestly, you could have done them so much better than you actually did. But on the unfortunate side of the equation, as much as I really want to give to Elemental Sabres that they have the potential to really do anything, unfortunately, not in competitive play. Now, in casual play to intermediate play, sure, they might be able to do something. But in terms of strict tier 1 play, Elemental Sabres aren't going to see it. And I'm sorry to say that. I like the concept. It was cool, but they dogged them hard. Next up, fucking Vendread. Konami Japan, please hear my cry. Please, for all that is right in this world, please transform this shitty archetype with whatever orb of light you might have. Did it with Sabres, you did it with Spirals, did it with Burning Abyss. Please, hear my cry. Transform this shitty archetype into something bright. That's all I gotta say. Vendread, they were a wonderful concept. And if you can make Sabres and Spirals, you can make them good with 1 or 2 OCG exclusives that we'll get 100 years from now. That's fine. But please save what exists for the Vendread archetype. It's a really cool concept. It's really good. The ritual aspect of it might have been executed very poorly in the TCG. I don't know if we just didn't give them the right amount of exclusives or something. But give them 2 good cards. Give them a preparational rights on top of preparational rights. Give them 6. Let them be able to engage in the game. There's a lot of stuff that Konami Japan can do when they release it over in the OCG, exclusive-wise. And I definitely want to see that archetype succeed. But for this point in time, it's flop central in terms of competitive play. It might get a little cheeky and maybe a 60 card variant every once in a while, but man, it could have been so much better. Robbie's dogging on archetypes now. So it's not that I'm hating on these archetypes because I love some of them. Don't get me wrong, but this is purely from a competitive standpoint. Next up, FA. Wait a minute. Wasn't the last FA archetype yeah, well, so the last FA archetype we had, we're gonna just dub these the race cars. Once again, the race cars kind of got the same treatment that they did with Vendread, but you could tell FAs were more casual based. So when I look at FA as a deck, my first initial concept is, cool, they have a win condition. But what the fuck does the deck do, though? You run around 3 different field spells and you attempt to win the race? That's how it works. The deck doesn't have anything going for a competitive. It's a really cute, gimmicky win con, and I like that. That's fine. You know, it was cool for what it was, but for the most part, FA didn't really. They got cool stuff, they really do, but maybe as a splashable engine somewhere along the way. But for the most part in competitive play, it's a no-fly zone for me, Johnny Bravo. I'm not really feeling it. Next up, Trickstars. So we already know Sabres, Vendread, FA are flop, but here's the interesting thing. The OCG didn't get to experience Trickstars with all the new support. Reincarnation was at 1 by the time they got most of this stuff. I'm going to be very curious to see how the TCG will interact with the new field spell, how some of the new cards will interact with triple reincarnation being around. Not saying that it's going to do anything, but Trickstars have kind of just been where they've been all format. And we'll have to wait and see, because this is definitely interesting. I don't know if it's going to get spicy. Probably not, honestly. It's probably going to stick to the same vanilla-ass build that they've been playing for the last hot minute, but for the most part, there's potential there for some interesting interactions to come out. But in terms of competitive play, I don't know if they're going to really get there. So I gotta give it up to Trickstars. I think in terms of Trickstars and Goki being the 2 Black Horses or White Horse, whatever your old reference is to that. In terms of the things that they can do out of left field, I'm definitely excited the most for those two. And last but not least, on front side here, we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about Laird Infernoid. So Laird Infernoid doesn't get anything super spicy in the core set, but they still have the 60 card variant and the going second 40 card builds. Now, Laird Infernoid really needs that brandish garbage to get going. But in terms of this being a deck that enters into the current format, I just be aware that it exists. If you're playing against Altergeist, alright, if they go second and you don't know what they're playing and you get Imagination stationed, you're going to have a really bad time when that Tiara comes down and starts ripping apart through your field. I like that about Infernoids. Granted, Imagination Station's broken, but for the most part, the Laird Infernoid engine has been working out really good between 60 and whatnot card variants. But I don't know. It's interesting to me. Just what's going on. Next up, Burning Abyss, Light of Sekka. Look at me. Look at me. The last time Burning Abyss got support, shit went down. I'll be completely honest with you, I'm not looking forward to seeing Light of Sekka and current play, whether or not it be with Mermails or with BA. But somebody's going to try to get cheeky with this card existing. And cheers. I gotta give it to whoever comes up with the coolest concept for this. Because if they find a way to break Burning Abyss as a standardized deck in the current metagame, I'm going to be very intrigued to see where it goes. Light of Sekka is a fantastic card, and you've got hella hand traps to support that shit on top of it. Let's start getting into the boring stuff now, shall we? Pendulum Magicians. Oh no, Peter. What do I do? It's the same shit that it's been the whole format. There's nothing special to say about it. Do the nightmares make them spicier? I don't think so, personally. There's nothing in FLOD that makes this deck, honestly, any better than it already was. Astrograph's still really ridiculous, but maybe Altergeist will give them a run for their money. I doubt it. But it's the powerhouse in the format, and it will remain, honestly, as such, depending. So, prepare your anus. By anus, I'm referring to your deck box as it gets destroyed and sent across the floor. God damn, you guys are perverts. Next up, True Draco. Once again, this is in the same position as our friends over at Pendulum Station. It's the same stuff. Electromite Turbo's still pretty much here. True Draco Masterpiece will still be a very disruptive piece. True Draco being a possible out to the interactions of Altergeist. I'm honestly perfectly fine with this. I know 55% of the community is not, which is fine. Everybody's got their opinions, like everybody has an asshole. It's fine. True Draco will still pretty much exist as a competitive counter to the metagame, as long as Card Demise exist at some number as 3 along with Masterpiece. So there's that. Next up, Invoked Mech Knight. So, here's the thing with this. This whole deck disappears, dies, as soon as we get Brandish. You're going to have pure Brandish, and you're going to have literally Brandish Invoked. But for the most part, for the current point in time, Invoked will remain in the same form that it has been this whole format up until the release of Dark Saviors. So prepare for column abuse and all of the other fun things that come with playing against Invocation deck. It's going to be standard disruptions. I'm going to be curious to see how they do against Altergeist too. And then last but not least, the rest of the pie. Dinosaurs, 60 cards. I don't even know what the rest of the metagame is anymore. Everything's just kind of there. So here's the thing. Everything else hasn't lost anything. It's still there. Whether or not it's from the random ass decks that have been topping across the formats, it's all still the fucking same pile of shit that it's been. The only thing that's happening now is you have 2 more degenerate piles of garbage coming into the metagame. Robbie, you are so cynical. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for telling it. Okay, so here's the thing. Altergeist are fantastic. Gokis are cool. Brandish are fucking stupid. If you leave the current metagame where it is and you allow Brandish to come in the game, at least you're going to have some decks competing against it. You know, somewhere along the way, Spirals are in this garbage, beating their way up to the top because they're still doing what they do. I'm going to continue to tell you this about Spirals. Don't discount them just because they're limited, because you will get comboed out of left field at table 2, table 3, being X1, X2 by a Spiral player, and because you haven't played the deck in the last year when your opponent combos you, you're like, well, fuck. Remember that. The deck is very strong for regional level play. YCS level I disagree with, I don't think it's very good there, but in terms of the rest of the metagame, it's still there. So that's all I got for the meta for now. If we get a ban list, we'll talk again, but this is my metagame discussion for May. If we get a ban list. Fuck diddly yuck. I love Yugioh. Don't you? Well, that's all I've got. I'm gonna go put all my hopes and dreams in this really shitty deck box, because it's what I do. Anything to make me sleep at night. Also remember, when did this become okay? And somewhere in Japan, this is okay. I don't get it. Just cultural norms. Swear, man. Alright, I'm out, guys. Peace. The ride never ends, guys. Make sure you enable those notifications to get the latest videos that are being posted on this channel. Make sure you guys check out VanCole40 for my Cardfight Vanguard channel. And join me and House of Champions on the Zodiac Duelist TV Twitch stream. I will be interacting with our audiences. And please check out No Limit Gaming and LGTCG.com for the cheapest trading cards on the market. Thanks for watching, guys, and please have a good day.